Hi, Michael.
Good morning. Hello. That's like an afternoon type of morning. Can we do a sound check, by the way? Is my microphone perfect?
The sound check is fantastic. If you're all right, we can begin the session. Hello, everyone. Today is a special day in my life. I'm super thrilled and pepped for this podcast that we have ahead of us. Please join me as I welcome Michael van de Water, the head of Student Recruitment at AUS Business School, Switzerland.
Thank you very much, Bobs, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be on this podcast together.
Why international students choose Switzerland despite the higher perceived living costs or higher perceived tuition costs?
Generally, students come here to expand their network of international students. Almost 30% of non-Swiss nationals living in the area. So it's a really international environment.
Perfect. That's great. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, in whatever part of the world you are. Today is a special day in my life. Not only do I get to speak to a good friend of mine, but an extremely professional colleague that I've met in my career. It was my greatest honor. And most importantly, I'm super thrilled and pepped for this podcast that we have ahead of us. Please join me as I welcome Michael van de Water, the head of student recruitment at AUS Business School, Switzerland. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Bobs, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be on this podcast together.
You know, as this global education ecosystem is continuously evolving, it thrills us, doesn't it? You wake up to a new news every day, you see where the market is looking at. It's no longer the big four or the big three. The narrative is continuously changing. Do you have something to say about that, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, what is a pleasant development for us and also for other European countries is that it's becoming a more and more popular destination. Also because of the increased offer of English spoken curricula. So for us, it's a good development to see also international students and welcoming them here in the beautiful Switzerland, in the Swiss Riviera to be precise.
Rightly said. No, actually, truth be told, I've written down a certain point so that I don't miss out on the relevance and the importance of this. Call me old school, but certainly Switzerland constantly ranks among the world's most innovative, safest, and research-based countries, and also time and again it's looked at upon as a premium destination for students. So from your perspective, what do you think about why international students choose Switzerland, and despite the higher perceived living costs or higher perceived tuition costs?
So generally, Switzerland has an ecosystem of international schools. It starts already with the international high schools and boarding institutes, but also for higher education, they're very famous. Universities related to technology like ETH and EPFL. We are famous for the best hospitality institutes, which are multiple in this area, in this canton where we are in the top 5 in the world. Generally, students come here to expand their network of international students. We are surrounded by international organizations and headquarters of international businesses here in the area between the location where we are, La Tour de Bay and Geneva. So it's an interesting environment for people to come and study, and also because of all the international companies, there are, I believe, almost 30% of non-Swiss nationals living in the area. So it's a really international environment.
Very substantial number on the rise, indeed.
Yeah, true. No, so that's very interesting for students. Also from the vantage point of MSM Unify for South Asia, Middle East, and Africa. Do you see concrete data trends that indicate rising student interest and also agents, of course?
Absolutely. Let me answer this question with something that we see in the movies, like especially from the South Asian culture or Middle Eastern culture. It's always portrayed like in movies the creme de la creme students get to go and study in the boarding schools of Swiss, or Switzerland is something almost equivalent to be living on the moon. But because that was perceived like this for years, but having conversations with you, understanding the market trends, how the evolution has been changing, and the stats time and again, Michael, it has been showing us, like holding a big, a play card in front of us, that from 2018 to 2023, there has been an increase of 17.7% to 19.7%. Now that's a substantial increase too. And as per the data as well, Switzerland has been attracting nearly 78,000 international students that I could have never imagined. So what I'm trying to see is the kind of geopolitical shifts that are happening across the Big Four. The way the volatility of the visa situations that are happening in US, in Canada, in UK, in Australia, as we call the land down under. Now the students are looking at something where a geographic location where they have premium education, stability, as you've rightly mentioned, circling back to a very important point that you've mentioned, networking. That's exactly that they're looking for. By having multiple conversations with them and trying to tell them that this is the deliverables that you would get in studying in Switzerland, I think the inclination, the affinity towards the geographical location is becoming time and again more organic, because students or agents didn't have this information before. Switzerland could be, may I say, the redemption call at this point of time. So certainly, not just with the data, but also with the clarity, by having multiple conversations with you, what you offer, by having conversations with your students, we understand that what is portrayed is really achievable. And it's a land where students are welcomed, students must go.
If you compare studying in Switzerland to other European countries, like the Western European countries, it's not as expensive anymore as once perceived in the past. We can go through more of that in detail, but it's actually, of course, it's studying abroad is always more expensive than in your home country. But yeah, let's dive into that in detail later as well.
Absolutely, and I would like to emphasize this particular point that you've mentioned, that Switzerland, for some reason, is always perceived as to be uber duper premium. Maybe we got it from social media or from people who traveled, and it's considered to be like the creme de la creme. But actually, whilst it is creme de la creme in terms of opportunities and networking, as from an education standpoint, it's very affordable and accessible for students. So let's dive a little bit into that. I have a question for you. Now, AUS Business School positions itself as a business school with small cohorts, high faculty access, and strong industry exposure. I know that because I went through your case studies, so I personally watched for that. So from an outcome lens, how does this model differ measurably from more traditional European business schools? To put it in simple terms, why should a student choose AUS Business School compared to other business schools in Europe?
I would like to go for three main points that we offer in our program and school itself. So the first one is that we offer dual program. So we have a collaboration with Tiffin University in Ohio. And each student obtains a bachelor and a master degree from AUS and from Tiffin in the United States. So this also offers and allows students to pursue working or study opportunities in the United States upon completion of their bachelor, for instance.
Love that.
And also a Swiss degree offers you an entry to the rest of the European market. We will go in depth of that later as well. Second one is the faculty from the business industry itself. So they teach also their own profession, and they also teach in other renowned institutes in the area. So faculty is of course the core of an institute, of a business school. And then less related to studying, but more related to networking and connecting with the community, is that we have guaranteed housing. So we have two locations where our students live. It's 5 to 10 minute walk from the current campus.
Nice.
I say current because we're moving to a beautiful campus only 5 minutes from here.
I had a sneak peek of it.
Yeah, it's on the Lake Geneva actually, and we expect to move later this year in the Q4. So guaranteed housing is very important because it allows us to keep the prices a bit lower, also compared to what you see in the European market in general, where when there's the complete free market, the cost of living can really increase. I'm from the Netherlands myself, and you only have to Google simple terms about living there as a student, and you will see that it's not as easy. So guaranteed housing is a very important one for our student and also for community building, because they have a shared kitchen. The accommodation is fully furnished. So it's very nice for them. to be there.
Michael, what I see is when you said shared community, the shared kitchen and everything, that's where our lives transform, right? If you and I could shut our eyes and go back to when we were students, the way we have built ourselves, how our perception has actually stretched. And today we get to work with great diversity. Come on, we're having a conversation with somebody in Switzerland, and in the afternoon with somebody in Australia or in Turkey. This kind of growth, this proliferation comes right from when we were a student. May I please ask you what kind of diversity that you have on the campus?
Yeah, of course. So we have in total over 30 nationalities. So we have students representing Western Europe, Switzerland, Middle East like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates. We have students from India, from Vietnam. We also have an exchange program with the Japanese university, where we welcome more often students for an exchange, and also our students can go to Japan. And then of course the Americas, which means North and Central and South America. So it is an international community that you tap into and study among. So I have one question about your collaboration with agents that start evaluating Switzerland as a new market. Where do you see the biggest capability gaps in counseling, and how does MSM Unify help to fill or close those gaps?
Thank you for that question. And I think it's important for me to address this because there is an organic change that is happening. Now, the agent market, as I've mentioned before, our culture and our markets such as South Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, or Middle East, GCC, they have been so conditioned for years to be looking at the West or the land down under, isn't it? Now, with the kind of changes that are happening in terms of programs, geopolitical situations, visa volatility, it's not the question of motivation for the agents. The gap isn't motivation. I would say undoubtedly the gap is data and clarity. Agents never knew before that they could propose Switzerland as a lucrative destination for students. In simple terms, agents are always looking for what works for students, just like you and just like me. All of us are on the same page. We are here to serve the students. So how do we motivate agents is not just aspirational stories or going them and giving them a pep speech. No. Agents are looking for data and clarity. That is why time and again we have conversations with you to get real-time information about internships, career opportunities, starting salary, change of salaries, what are the titles that students can get after completing a bachelor degree program or a master degree program. So the way we empower agents is we start with market evidence. Now the market evidence could be student profile, the time it takes to process the visa, the admission process. So by giving this market evidence, this brings great clarity in the agents that makes it so organic for them to propose Switzerland as a lucrative destination for students. As you see in the multiple conversations that we've already had in the past, the interest is ignited already. Now we have to set it ablaze even more by giving them maximum number of information. So this kind of coaching uses acceptance algorithms. It requires a lot of stats, how fast that we can process the visa. So when we give this data, metrics, the key metrics to the agents, and I think this is what they're looking for, since all of us are on the same page to serve students. When countries are being shut, opportunities are being slimmer and slimmer, it becomes more easier for an agents or counselors to propose Switzerland as a lucrative market for students. And I think students are also looking for industry-linked programs, Michael, just what exactly I love about what AUS Business School has. So in line with this, I would like to ask you a question. They always ask, if students ask this question, man, if I'm going to a university, I would be just shut in a classroom whole day, because academics is good, pedagogy is good, but they also would like to know if what they learn in the class, is it industry applied? Can they apply that? Day-to-day learning. So could you just describe a little bit more about the classroom reality, how it's going to happen, how they link what they study in internships or tasks? I think that would be super cool for our students to know.
Yeah, of course. Now, so to start with that, it's a very personal approach. As I said, what differs us as a business school is the small classroom sizes. So usually We have around 15 to maximum 20 students in class, and also the staff to student rate at our institute is 1 to 7. So we know everyone on a first name basis. We really help them grow personally. There's a strong theoretical framework, of course, that students go through. The core courses are in the business program are related to leadership and management and marketing, finances and accounting, everything that is important. And then, of course, they choose a specialization which is connected to their aspiration or interest, what they want to pursue their career in later. We have a lot of exposure to practice as well. First of all, because of our faculty that are industry experts and also are working simultaneously in the field of their teaching. And what that means is that we have different cases that we work on or projects in groups of individually. And then in addition to that, we also do industry visits. Last term, we visited, for instance, the airport of Geneva, Zurich, and Bern in 3 industry visits. We visited the financial department of Swiss Post. And in this way, we introduce people to our students to the industry reality. They get guided tours by the people representing the companies to really get hands-on experience on what they're studying for. So we try to balance the theory and the practice on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, I love that. I love 2 things that you mentioned, that you know your students by the first name. When universities or business schools or institutions are looking forward to attract international students because they thoroughly believe in what they offer and how the student gets benefited, sometimes there could be a miss of this personalized approach. And I know that your cohorts are so small and high focused, and students get to interact with you on a daily basis. You know them so closely. Sometimes you know their families too. And this is the kind of environment that students are looking for. So looking at the inquiry data and the enrollment data of AUS, what exactly, according to you, is the right fit of a student profile for AUS?
I've been asking our students in the past weeks, why did you join AUS? And I would like to highlight, I think 3, maybe 4 profiles. Starting with the bachelors, we have a lot of students that come from families that have a family business, and parents are seeking their next generation to get them the right skills to participate, and later perhaps if they also want to take over family businesses, which means general interest in business and entrepreneurship. Those 2 I would like to highlight. Then if we look into our master students, we have students that have their own business already.
Oh, cool.
They study and work simultaneously. And we have a lot of engineers or students with an engineering background in IT or aeronautics. And they seek to also tap on the business and management and leadership skills rather than their beautiful bachelor degree or undergraduate degree in engineering.
Yes.
So that's a very fun one to see. So I would, small recap: interest in business, taking over family businesses, entrepreneurship, and engineering and management and business skills.
That's nice. I like the fact that you also have profiles where students are coming from business background and currently working. So how this wonderful amalgamation also happens. This is so brilliant. I should salute you guys for building such kind of student profile and student environments in your classrooms. That's super cool, Michael. And I think this also gives a credibility for students a lot of them who are coming from family business backgrounds. So while they learn in the class, they can pick up the phone and call back to the family. You know what? I've learned something about marketing today. And this is how that we can do it. We can change this way. This real-time transformations is exactly what learning is all about, and that's your motto.
From your counseling data, could you elaborate a little bit on what the top decision drivers are for students to come to Switzerland, moreover the big 4 destinations?
Absolutely. I think I would like to segregate this into 3 concise points. The first one is the outcome clarity. Students are always looking at outcomes. Yes, there is focus on what they're going to study, but the focus is also on what they study result into. So students value smaller cohorts like what you do at AUS. by understanding each other, sharing their network, diversity change, a stretch of mindset. This is what students are looking for. Selective admissions and clear academic to industry partnerships, what you've really mentioned. Students coming from family background, from engineering background, you giving them real-time access to industries where they can actually apply what they're learning in the classroom. This is plain and simple. The textbook learning is finished long time ago, decades ago, I believe so. And with the kind of speed that technology is going, students are looking at. Students are more smarter than we give them credit for. They already come prepared. They have a clearer aspirations on what they would like to study. The second thing I would like to say is time to value, which means students are looking not just at smaller cohorts, but quick and high focused learning. Maybe sometimes students would like to do 4 majors at the same time in one semester because they know that they can do it, and they would like to learn quicker so that they can enter the workforce or enter the family businesses or being in entrepreneurship or etc. So improved ROI is what students are looking for. That's exactly what you do by partnering students with industries. So there is a very good marriage right there. And the third one is they're looking for brand plus stability. Now talk about AUS Business School. The programs offered by you and the programs offered in Switzerland are globally, academically very strong and robust. They're accredited. At the same time, the students don't have to worry about the visa volatility. So they have brand, they have stability, and they're safe. So to put it in a nutshell, students are looking for precision any given day over volume. That is fantastic. And this is what a student would look for. When I reel back my life, when I was looking for my international education, it was very simple. The answer was very simple. Will I get a job? Will I have real-time experience with industry? So circling back to this, Michael, I would like to ask you, students, really, not just students, even myself, and when you were a student too, you probably had the same question. So we can relate to the student community. Students always ask whether internships are guaranteed or are they competitive? So what should the realistic expectations look like when it comes to a student looking at AUS Business School?
Yeah, very good question. So to first look at our curriculum, it's not a mandatory part of our curriculum, but we do support it because students can also earn credits when they do an internship. And so they can basically do 1 or 2 terms instead of studying, do an internship and continue upon completion. Depending on their passport, because there's a difference in Switzerland if you are an EU citizen or a non-EU citizen. For European passport holders, it's more easy to find an internship in Switzerland because for non-EU citizens, it has to be related to the study program. Second thing is that we are here in the French-spoken part of Switzerland, and if you look into the market, there are of course many international companies. There's also a lot of competition from business schools and universities in the area. And the third one is the language skills that the students have. If they have the right skills and they find the right internship, we support them in getting the right permit also to complete and start with the internship. It's not guaranteed, so it's very important also for agents to communicate that the chances of finding an internship are not very high. This is again because of the type of study permit and because of the language gaps that there are. Because a lot of Swiss companies are international, but also focus on their own markets. So many require 3 languages to be working in the company. So it's very important to communicate that clearly to prospective students.
Thank you for this honesty. Actually, I do know that at AUS, you also empower students and handhold them by connecting them with industries, etc. While internship is not guaranteed, of course, it comes with networking. We all have been there.
Exactly.
Right? We all have been there. Who are we kidding? But at the same time, I would like to ask you one pressing question. Are students allowed to work part-time?
Exactly, that's the second part I was thinking of. After 6 months of being in the country, and for bachelors it's sometimes 1 year, students can work up to 15 hours per week, and during holiday time they can work more than that. So we have the students that choose to work here at AUS. I think it's around 20% of our students is actively looking or working. They can work in bars or restaurants, or they have found a work or internship. So it's not impossible, it is possible. So they have found internships in their field of studies. For instance, at an airplane broker here in the area, We have one student doing an internship with a non-European passport in a foundation for softball and baseball, the international one. So it's very impressive what she's doing, and we're very proud of our student. So
Super.
it's the students can work part-time after being 6 months in the country, up to 1 year in the country for bachelors.
Nice. There's also a burning question in the minds of students, in the minds of agents as well. While they're looking at the accreditations of the program, they also would like to know what is the post-study work regulation like. If a student comes and studies the bachelor degree program, he gets to stay back and look for a job. And also the same question applies to a postgraduate student. May I please invite you to add your comments on this?
Let's break it down in three: Switzerland, Europe, and the United States. Starting with Switzerland, students can apply for prolonging their study visa to look for work. It's maximum 6 months. And if they have the right skills and the right connection to the market, and they find a job, companies have to sponsor non-EU citizens. So companies have to basically prove that they could not find anyone in their internal markets or Europe before they hire someone from abroad. So I would say there are possibilities, but it's again also because Switzerland is a very attractive country in terms of minimum wage. The average or the minimum starting wage is 55,000 Swiss francs, I believe, depending on the canton where they live. So
I'm coming.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's a very interesting country to live and work. So there's also competition naturally. The second part, Europe, because they have studied in Switzerland. Other European countries are just train right away. To give you an example, from where we are, in 3 hours and a bit, you're in Milan. In 4 hours, you're in Paris. By train, worth to mention, and in 1 hour and 15 you're in Amsterdam or in Hamburg or the south of Germany.
Proximity, yeah? Very good proximity.
It's really the center of Europe, and upon graduation they can also, of course, expand their search to other European countries. And then also because they have a dual degree from an American university, if they choose to either continue studying in the US or do their last year of their bachelor's already at different university, they can also have a stay back option in the US. So studying in Switzerland doesn't only mean that you have to look into Switzerland, but also the rest of Europe and the US.
By being in this location, students are not just confined to Switzerland, right? You're welcome to open your horizons, to look.
Exactly.
You can travel to Amsterdam, to Paris. The proximity is very cool. Love that, Michael.
So we are talking a lot about transparency. For you, from a trust and compliance perspective, how important is this transparency towards prospective students about the reality of opportunities?
Thank you for this question, because in today's day and time, transparent counseling is not just important, it's not negotiable, because data is at the access of every student. Students, I love the fact that they are coming more prepared. They know what they want. The goals are more clearer. They're not just going for international education with somebody who's pushing them, or they have some dream, or they have affinity. They know what they want in terms of their majors. They know what they want when they're looking for job opportunities after their work. So by giving them realistic information, not something that is drawn out of a picture or an assumption, like you really mentioned, internships, BABs, they're not guaranteed. Now, this is something, an honest element that really trigger the kind of trust that the student is looking for. These guys are not just painting pictures, but they're giving us a real information that sometimes there is competition and we have to put the extra mile in order to get that internship, meet more people, attend more events, not just spend time in the lounge, but be out there. So in terms of this realistic information, this engages the students to make an informed decision. Trust, I believe, in my experience, and I think you will second with me there, trust always leads to quick enrollments and quality enrollments for our students.
Yeah.
At this point of time, clarity beats optimism at any given point of time. Michael, students are saying, tell this works and this doesn't work. So when we give this real-time information, because with the access of social media, student can reach out to any alumni of AUS Business School and say, tell me about your life. So a happy student becomes the brand ambassador for your school tomorrow and a brand ambassador for us tomorrow. So exactly. To believe that, we have to be as honest as possible. In our honesty, in our trust, the confidence is very quietly built. And in this building, you see an ambassador that is also in the rise.
No,
So
exactly.
it's absolutely non-negotiable for our students. Now, having said that, there's also a preconceived notion that we've already touched base on multiple times during our conversation, that Switzerland is perceived to be super premium expensive, right? So in this thought, I would like to ask you a question, Michael. What is a realistic monthly budget a student should plan for? And how should cost be contextualized when a student is looking at AUS Business School as their next destination?
So I would start with advice and requirements of the Swiss government, because they normally want to see a bank statement proving that you can, let's say, survive for the upcoming 12 months. And the requirements are that you have at least 25,000 in a spendable bank account. So that would mean that on a monthly basis, they would say that your costs are between 2,000 and 2,500.
Of course.
If we break it down, starting with the rent from our accommodation, a shared room is 750 per month. If you have a single room,
750, did you say?
750 Swiss francs per month.
Okay.
If you choose for a double or a single room, it starts at 1250. Health insurance have reduced prices for younger people, so also students, of course. So it's around 140, 130 per month. We work together with, or we have collaborations with health insurance to offer deals to our students. Nice. Then the groceries. I mean, Switzerland can be very expensive because you can spend as much as you want, and of course, also if you look onto social media, you see a lot of that. Most of that comes from tourism, because you have a lot of discounts when you live in Switzerland, and other different ways of saving points or using other ways. For instance, if you look into public transport, it's very expensive. However, if you live here, you can buy a pass, which is called the demi-tarif, or basically you pay a one-time fee per year of 190 or 180 Swiss francs, and then all your other public transportation tickets are at half cost.
Okay.
So a return ticket from here to Zurich is normally 120, but if you have this pass, it's only 60. So once you live here actually, and you get to know the area, because it also depends on what supermarket you go to. Normally our students spend around 200-300 per month on groceries, but it can go easily up to 750 per month.
Of course, it also depends on students. This is the
exactly
average. Yeah, and also I believe when we were students, we were counting every cent, every euro.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it? That was the life of a student, and there's beauty in it. And of course,
yes, definitely.
The exorbitant lunches happen when we get jobs and etc. But when we were students, we were very conservative. We were very economical. Frugality starts building organically within students. So I think, and also the opportunity to work part-time will also help in this monthly budget is something that I really like. To put in simple terms, now I'm going to ask you a very brutal question, Michael.
Yeah.
Yourself for that. Is Switzerland really worth the investments for my students? For our students?
I think it's first of all, not only Switzerland, but studying abroad is a perfect life experience. It's once in a lifetime, unless you choose to move abroad to work in the future as well. But still, it's not the same as studying abroad. In terms of life experience and building an international network, it's a very interesting opportunity to be exposed to the beauty that Switzerland has to offer. So again, what I said in the beginning, also the different universities and hotel schools. Our students have friends not only within our campus, but also many friends from other institutes, because they, for instance, share nationality, or they are friends of friends and get in touch with each other. So it's a unique environment and very beautiful, because we are speaking now here without showing any pictures, but our area is a UNESCO heritage area. So there are wineries for hundreds of years here in the area, and it gives the most stunning view. So look for Swiss Riviera or for Lavaux, the area on the Lake of Geneva, and you see the beauty of it. We are 50 minutes away from Verbier, beautiful skiing area. We are 30 minutes away from smaller skiing areas. Porte du Soleil, famous skiing area, is at 40 minutes distance as well.
From the campus?
From the campus, correct. Yeah.
Nice.
And you don't need a car here, which is also very interesting and nice because the buses, trains, and funiculaires and cable cars get you right to the slopes of All
Close.
Mountain. So
Of-
that's
That's
it's a very unique experience. And then of course the summers on the lake. We're close to France, close to Milan, close to Paris.
yeah.
You can go everywhere by train easily. So yeah, during your studies here, you can be a tourist in the country. So I would say yes, definitely it's worth
What the
the
investments are.
investment.
I've read somewhere, or I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I've read it somewhere or I've heard somewhere. They say that your net worth is your network.
Yeah,
The more
yeah,
you know people, the more you get to learn, to interact, opens doors, opens opportunities, and creates those kind of platforms that you've never dreamt of. And
yeah,
being in a place like Switzerland, like you've rightly mentioned, network, 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 knock on the door, having that
yeah.
conversation. In my experience of working with students, I've had students tell me stories like, ma'am, I met the vice president of Barclays in the elevator. I had 30 seconds and we went to a coffee shop. I got the offer letter. So you don't know
Wow.
who you're going to bump into.
Yeah,
Seize the moment. Carpe diem. I love that fact.
very true. Yeah, I would really like to hammer also on networking because it's
Yeah.
ultimately up to the student what you make out of your time studying abroad. And the opportunities are there. There are many expat groups, but you have to
Yeah.
seize the moment, definitely.
Now, Michael, I have something apart from my wonderful personality. I'm joking. um, how have you taken the decision to establish this global marketing office collaboration with MSM Unify? What was something that really made sense to you, relevance to you? What brought in the trust to partner with us?
So we started, of course, having conversations a couple of months ago.
Yes.
So we started to reading into it, and
Yes.
what is very important for us, we are a business school in Switzerland. Of course, our network reaches to different countries and partnerships and recognitions by different governments abroad. And what is for us very difficult because we are a relative small team is to be everywhere at the same
Yes.
time. And
Yes.
this is really where MSM Unify came in to be our representation in these markets. So
Correct.
to collaborate. So of course we will travel together with you, but it's more the intensity of being in set locations where we are not. So that's
Correct.
for us a perfect collaboration. And I have a question because for me it's more clear than for our viewers.
Of
I will
course.
get to that later. But the way of representing is not just an agency, it's really breathing our communication to the local markets there. So that's the strong point of working together. For the audience, touching upon this, from your experience across multiple GMO partnerships,
Yeah.
what's fundamentally changes when recruitment shifts from remote to in-country GMO setup?
I would like to answer this by saying the fact that, circling back to what you've just said, that we were a small team and we would like to be everywhere. And this is where we come into the picture. Nothing beats local precision. Come on, you take any marketing campaign of big countries like Starbucks when it opened in India. It shifted its focus from coffee to tea. How did they learn that? With local precision. So by establishing dedicated staff members in our source markets for you, we're establishing the local presence of AUS in these markets. So this is a place, this is a point of contact where students can come and talk to, parents can come and talk to, agents can come and talk to. Having that local precision, nothing in the world can beat this. And as the next step of this, you get the data quality improves by being on the ground, by understanding your pedagogy. We bring you the real intel what the students are looking for. Probably tomorrow we would say that students are looking for fashion management with artificial intelligence. This is something, this intel comes by continuously being on the ground, by continuously establishing conversations with the students, with the agents, understanding what the market is having the appetite for. So this data quality also improves. Like, of course, you can be in Switzerland and have an understanding of the markets, but nothing beats one-to-one conversation, right?
Yeah, no, very much agree.
So by having this in-country representation, we give you that the data, the refined or robust quality data that is necessary for you to enlarge your territories when it comes to pedagogy or academic offerings for in terms of institution. And also AUS Business School shifts from being transactional to embedded. Now, how do students know? Students know AUS Business School through their screen, through website. social media. Now they're meeting somebody from AUS because the dedicated staff become your staff. So when students talk to them, they're talking to AUS in flesh and bones. So nothing beats that. So this transactional approach that brings from screen is now embedded into real-time moral experience. And this gives stronger conversion. This builds the trust that we are looking for from in terms of agents, in terms of students as well. So you become more recognized and more accessible, and hence you have an authority in these markets. Yeah, so this is how we believe that we would like to deliver to our partners and to AUS Business School. So Michael, as we are concluding our podcast, do you have any final words to say for our students and for our agents?
So what I would like to highlight again, because it's in our nature is the personal approach. We are really looking forward to welcoming students from all nationalities to really get that enhanced cultural learning as well. We function as sort of personal assistants to our agencies, and we will for sure also meet in person, whether it's in Switzerland or the Middle East or India. So we really look forward to build this together further in the upcoming months and years.
Super. Thank you so much, Michael. I think this goes without saying that from the day I have been interacting with you, your focus has always been like, Babs, our programs are great and we want our students to know. Their decision making will come later. We want them to know what we offer. And I know how I've seen pictures of your graduation ceremony, the new campus, what it's going to be, the new curriculum that you're launching. They are very student-centric. And this gives me greatest honor to partner with you. So thank you so much for always being so open, so honest, so generous in your approach towards us, towards our student community. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today, Michael. Thank you very much for what you've done to our community today.
Thank you very much, Babita. It's really a pleasure. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.